clairvoyance of being presses limited, and so we rely on press releases. I will talk about Destiny 2. I didn't watch the stream live, but I have consumed all of the things afterwards, and there is a press release did get released about it. So it was yesterday. So it's had time to do the rounds, and yeah, it's, well, as I'm a critic of Destiny, yeah, but I'm gonna be doing that at the end. If that's what you're here for, skip to the end, because first we have other news to do first. Because first we have other news to talk about, because there are more things going on than just Destiny 2 being showed off, really. The first release is by UKIE, aka the people who give us the or allow us to use the all-format charts on the Monday shows. And this is basically an acknowledgement of the political goings-on in the UK. There is a general election on June 8th. Even we say vote. Don't really give a shit who. It's vote. That's the entire point of an election. And this is their response to the Conservative Party manifesto that was released this week. Part of the reason why I think they don't mention the Labour Party or anything else to people who are not living in the UK, the Labour Party is the current second party. They were the people who were previously the shadow administration, the opposition party. It's partly because of just that. The Conservative Party were the party that was most recently in power. They were the ones who were most recently having the majority in government, but also as their manifesto, as they say that they've released here, is kind of apolitical. It's just recommendations from the UKIE organisation saying this is how we think the game should be done in regards to the political affiliations for the gaming industry of the UK. The second story is a continuation of a story that I talked about, I think, last Friday. I can't necessarily remember, but this is the Brazil Game Show, basically the South American big games event, and this is basically saying that Razer has joined the Brazil Game Show again. It's again because they have done it before, but it's also being one of the big names, one of the big people showing off some things, showing off mouse and tech, and basically showing off all the Razer stuff for the time. It's basically just a big sponsored name that's coming to it as well. But also as part of this is the announcement of the 5th batch of tickets. The 5th batch of tickets are on sale, so you can get tickets if you are going to be in South America for the time. Then more tickets are available. But there is one, this last sentence is one that very much intrigued me, and it's people who donate 1 kilogram of non-perishable food, so tinned foods, canned foods, you will get a half-price ticket, which is the first I've heard of that, and it turns out I should have heard of this before. I'm using developonline.net, and this is from 2014, saying that 70 tons of food were donated and given to charity for the event, and right, I am surprised I haven't heard this before. It's, wow, okay. Yeah, donate 1 kilogram of food, and you will get a half-price ticket on the day. Okay. That's very good. And keeping with the international flair, this is a story about Toge Productions. People who don't know about Toge Productions, you should play more web games. This is the company that made the Infectinator series. I know Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and a bunch of YouTubers has done videos on this before. I think PewDiePie several years ago did their Infinite Runner thing, and this release is about them expanding. They are becoming a publisher. As I say here, Indonesian indie game studio Toge Productions, famous for the hit Flash game series Infectinator, is expanding themselves to be a game publisher that focuses on helping local Indonesian game developers getting their games to the global market. The studio started in 2009 as a leap of faith for the founders and released award-winning games for the web browser, mobile, and PC, maintaining a small but strong team of developers. And there's a quote here from CEO and founder of Toge Productions, Chris Antoni: "I have seen many Indonesian developers produced high-quality games, but most of the time they remain invisible and are faced with problems such as the lack of funding or access to distribution channels. Indonesian indie devs don't have the same opportunities as indie devs in the US or Europe. We need to work extra hard to get noticed." And that is something I agree with. I learned about something kind of similar to this during film courses and film studies, and it's basically the issue that English language things, for the way that I learnt, is English language films and TV, goes to a much more broader appeal, as much more wider, as English is a much more widely spoken language, and can have a global appeal much more easily. When you have games that are originally based in Indonesian or French or German or anything like that, it already has to go through a barrier of translation just to get to the biggest market to sell in, and then that can be basically transferred to video games almost exactly. There is automatically a language barrier just from where the games are created. And he goes on to say, Toge Productions, as the senior studio in the country, want to change that and prove to everyone that games from a developing country such as Indonesia can have a place in the global market. And they actually have a list of preliminary games that they are going to publish. The first being Ultra Space Battle Brawl by Mojikin Studio, She and the Lightbearer, also by Mojikin Studio, A Space for the Unbound, also by Mojikin Studio, My Lovely Daughter by Game Changer Studio, Rage in Peace by Rolling Glory Jam, and Hellbreaker by Tahoe Games. It's always good seeing a small studio expand or become more, and on top of that, it's good to see a studio expand to help the people below them, to help sort of web developers or developers of much more smaller scale games get to a larger market. And on the mention of the pool of development, here is the latest Futurama game, and it is one that I am very interested in, although I can see not many other people being very interested in it at all. And the release starts off by saying Jam City, via its game studio Tiny Co, Foxnet Games and Met Graining, they released a new fully animated teaser trailer for Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow, a new game coming soon for mobile devices. Created in partnership from Futurama creator and executive producer Matt Groening and his Curiosity Company, along with executive producer David X. Cohen, original Futurama writers, and Rough Draft Studios, the teaser is the first new animation from the Futurama universe since the show's original TV run ended in 2013. To people who actually want to work out what the game actually is, only need to look at at one of the names that is developing it, Tiny Co, because one of the games that Tiny Co is most known for now is Family Guy and the Quest for Stuff. Yes, this is another one of those tap games, one of those pressy button waiting tappy things, kind of like in the likes of other Fox properties like Simpsons Tapped Out, Family Guy and the Quest for Stuff. This even has the exact same developers, Family Guy and the Quest for Stuff. Like I said, I'm going to be interested in this because I sort of fall in and out of playing Simpsons Tapped Out fair a lot. The gameplay stuff as it is so far, just basically, if you've ever played Family Guy and the Quest for Stuff, it seems exactly the same to that. But there is also a RPG element to it as well, which is quite good. It adds quite a lot to it. It's basically you have the characters and you fight through the story Macronians. But anyway, it's a Futurama tappy game thing, which I'm going to be interested in, and I'm probably going to play. Will I make videos on it? Don't know, probably not. And then comes a release out of Game, the game store seller, people who sell games, and it is the launching of their Game Elite system. It is their membership reward card system, basically. As they say here, Game today is launching a new loyalty service for its community of gamers, Game Elite. With over 20 million customers across the UK already signed up to the Game Reward, those avid gamers always on the lookout for the latest consoles, games and accessories can rack up reward points like never before and take advantage of a wider range of offers. It's basically just an award scheme for Game. They already had an award scheme, but this is basically just an additional part to the award scheme. As they go on to say, Game Elite members will receive 10% points back on physical games, merchandise and accessories, 4% back on consoles, PC, VR, phones and tablets, and 2% points on trade-in and digital purchases. But the big difference between this and the Game Reward system is that this is the paid membership. The Game Rewards is free. Game Elite isn't. You have to buy it. At the moment on their website you have the join today and get 1 month free launch offer of £33 for 12 months. So it is relatively cheap. It's only going to be relatively cheap if you use Game a lot. And I mean basically every game you buy is via Game. It's going to be that sort of deal. It's really only going to be worthy to pay in when you're going to have a lot of comeback for it. Otherwise, there is just Game Reward, as I said in their release. Because Game Reward, as it is here on the Game website, it's free to sign up. You only get 2% on all purchases, rather than the 10 or the 4 for consoles and various bits of hardware. and the 1% instead of the 2% on trade-ins. So here you end up getting a big comparative point. It's if you use game every now and then, kind of like with me, then Game Rewards, which is the free service where you get less rewards back, is much more worth it because you buy less stuff from them. Buy things from Game a lot, then Game Elite is probably going to be the service to it. So it comes down to how much do you use Game. Then, as it is, another week, there is more stuff about E3. This time it is about the PC gaming show. The E3 live stream that I end up having to wait up for and get very, very angry at. Last time it was 3 hours long, and it fuck all. It got to the point where I just went to bed because it was that pointless. It's basically, when it gets to a point when you just have people coming on to have a chat and going, this is the game I'm working on, are you able to tell us about it? No! It's, for the last two events that this has been going on, I have been very, very unimpressed. And they start off the release by saying, PC Gamer today announced that Xbox will join the upcoming annual PC gaming show for the third consecutive year, as both the sponsor and key presenter, and revealed more companies and speakers set to appear, taking place in Los Angeles Monday, June 12th. It is certainly becoming more and more obvious that Microsoft just wants to cut off all of its gaming things and just chuck it towards Xbox. It's getting to a point where Xbox has its own thing. This seems weird. I can understand if sort of the Microsoft part of the company wants to come in and make a show of it, but it just, why having the Xbox part of it? Xbox has its own bloody thing as well. It really does show that there is quite the division, or at least it's certainly giving a bloody image of there being a hell of a division between Xbox and Microsoft. Apart from that, it doesn't really give them much information. It says things like, fans can expect news and updates about PlayerUnknown's backgrounds from Bluehole Inc., Battletech from Paradox, and partnership with Harebrained Schemes for Total War Warhammer 2, Crazy Events. And yeah, apart from that, it gives no more information at all about what's actually going to go on, which is unsurprising because these events, as I said before, are boring as hell. The PC game ones for the last two times have been largely uninteresting. It's like one of the big criticisms I had last time is that they ended up having a whole VT, a whole thing about, look how great having a mouse and keyboard is. Which I just wanted to slap them over because that's the most stupidest thing to go on about, especially at a PC gaming thing. Oh, for good God Christ. It more than anything, it just oozes just the whole PC gamer elitism bollocks that goes around, which is just moronic. Even Yahtzee, who even came up with the whole thing of the PC Master Race, said he was using it ironically. And so, the story all of you have been waiting for, and that's Destiny 2, the big story out of all of this. This is the release they sent out. It's a very long release with lots of quotes and adjectives and all of that press, PR, bollocks. GameSpot already did a whole thing of just condensing the whole thing down to about 5 bullet points. And that is Destiny 2 limits cooperative multiplayer to 4v4. The open world, detailed activities can be started when you're on planets this time without having to go through more loading screens. It will have actual clan support and actual guild things and guided games as well as a thing connected to that, which is the big change. And then there's the revamps for the weapon system and new super abilities. I'll be fucking surprised if there fucking wasn't that. It's a bloody sequel if it didn't have some sort of update to the skill system or some update to what you can actually bloody do. I would be pissed, because it's the entire fucking point of an expansion, or in this case, an entirely new fucking game. And Destiny 2 will be available through PC, through Blizzard, through Activision Blizzard. I'm not entirely sure how to fucking feel about that, but we'll get to that in a minute. The first thing to talk about is the guided games thing, because that is the big change. And it's basically with the game actually going, yeah, this pretty much is an MMO. Because that is always the big criticism that I've always had for Destiny, is that it acts and looks and plays like an MMO. But its developers treat it like it's a generic first-person shooter, which is part of the reason why I think this whole thing... I don't understand why they didn't just put this out as, like, an expansion to it. Because it's... like, the fucking PC thing is done by Blizzard. It's... just treat this like Blizzard treats World of Warcraft. That's the thing that irritates the hell out of me, is that this is trying to... they're trying to treat it like a normal first-person shooter, but it's a fucking MMO. You play it consistently and permanently online. You have the cycle of grind and loot to grind. Why do you grind? To get the best loot. Why do you loot? To do the best grinds. And it has the raids and the multiplayer and the PvP. This is a fucking MMO, but it's trying to have that very odd merging of MMO and first-person shooter, and that's the reason why I've never liked it. And this is the reason why I think this Destiny 2 thing is dumb. Not in the sense that there's a Destiny 2, but the fact that it's a whole separate game. I don't understand why they just put the thing out as an expansion pack, as World of Warcraft does with its expansion packs. Probably because they've noticed that shit doesn't work. I remember at one point when World of Warcraft was going, join our 12 million players, and then within a couple of years was, join our 8 million players. It shows that expansions does not create permanence. So, yeah, that is probably the big issue I've had for it. But this guided games thing is a step towards MMO, because it cements guilds and clans and all that sort of stuff into it, because it means that people who are on a lower tier and people who are on a higher tier can play on same matches through essentially the guild system. So you can have guild matches where people can join up together as part of a guild, and so you have people who are on a low tier and people who are on a high tier can play off against each other, can compete in the same raids and other things like that. It's given the chance for more sociability among the people, because the first one didn't. And then there's the second point of it being Activision Blizzard. I still remember Diablo 3. I didn't play Diablo 3, but I remember the week-long shit show that was their servers. I remember this, and it was fucking hilarious. It was so while it's going, yay, Blizzard, it's putting out basically a PC version of a console MMO. But I remember the problems they have with servers at times, which is fucking hilarious, which is... yeah. It's going to be fun to see if they fuck up, because they have a track record. Basically, Blizzard has a track record of fucking up servers, especially for its online things. So it would be absolutely hilariously funny to see how this turns out, because there is a possibility they will fuck this up. And then combine with this, with the fact that everyone is trying to treat it, especially Bungie, is not trying to treat this as little like an MMO as possible, certainly shows that there is going to be zero permanence of previous games. Because even if you look towards World of Warcraft, there was a story circulating last year or the year before that I think we talked about on the Torch as well. I think Morph talked about it, which was one of the World of Warcraft vanilla servers, which was fan run and fan funded, so it's completely off Blizzard's sort of servers and domains and things, because Blizzard went, why would you want to play the old version? When it was... It's when you have things like Cataclysm that basically changed the entire bloody game. People would want to play the old one. Even Call of fucking Duty, you can still play the old ones. You can still play the old fucking multiplayer stuff. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so there was this fan server for the World of Warcraft vanilla, and then Activision jackbooted it down, and basically they did the cease and desist and nailed the entire thing. And so basically the largest fan-run World of Warcraft vanilla server got jackbooted into the end of existence. So, all of that time you spent in Destiny 1, say goodbye to it, because that is going away. This This is the reason why I think this is stupid. Because it runs in the cycle of loot, grind, loot, loot, grind, loot, loot. It's the constant fucking MMO cycle. And it shows it's going to be pointless. Because even in this one, none of your shit carries over. So why do the best? I'm going to play Destiny 2. So what's the fucking point of doing the best raids and stuff in Destiny 1 when none of that shit carries over? It's basically, if you were interested in playing Destiny 1, don't buy it. No fucking point. Get Destiny 2 instead. It's basically doing this kills everything that came before it. So, well done. And this is part of the reason why I don't like it. It's an MMO trying to be a first-person shooter, and I think that's stupid. Just be a fucking MMO. Go all in. And this is a step towards it being an MMO. But it's like they don't want to be an MMO. Even though they're published by fucking the people who do WoW. And so that's it for today. Part of the reason this may have a very different look to other videos is because when I was talking about the PC gamer thing, my fucking screen recording software crashed. Turns out I didn't have enough space. So I'm going to have to do a big clean up of my PCs. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing and showing the video around. And I will see you on Tuesday for the next, and hopefully a lot shorter press rush.